The day Jasmine Crockett changed everything. Picture this. A congressional hearing room, tension thick as fog, cameras rolling, and two women about to face off in what will become one of the most explosive political moments of the year. But here's the thing. Only one of them knew what was really about to happen. The setup, the Rayburn House office building felt different that morning. Reporters arrived early, phones already recording. Staffers pressed against back walls, wide-eyed and alert. Even the marble seemed colder than usual. Something was coming, and everyone could feel it. At the center of it all sat Jasmine Crockett, navy blazer crisp, papers perfectly aligned, pen cap already off. She wasn't fidgeting. She wasn't nervous. She had that quiet energy that comes right before a storm breaks. Across from her sat Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General and fierce Trump defender. Bondi looked ready for war, arms crossed, jaw set. Earlier in the hallway, she told reporters, "We're not going to sit through another witch hunt circus." But this wasn't going to be the circus Bondi expected. The first strike, when Representative Drummond called the session to order, Crockett didn't immediately speak. She scanned her pages, flipped once, then raised her head. That pause, that split second of silence before truth cuts through noise. That's when everything started. "This country has seen too many people bend facts to protect power," Crockett began, her voice steady as stone. "Today, we're going to look at some names and dates that have been sitting right in the open." She wasn't grandstanding. No theatrics. Just a woman with receipts. June 14th, 2020. September 3rd, 2021. January 8th, 2022. Each date hit like a countdown clock. These aren't just dates. These are moments, documented communications, executive memos, misused funds. The people tied to these aren't staffers. We're talking inner circle actors, former advisors, campaign attorneys, family. Bondi shifted in her chair. The room stiffened. The bombshell. Crockett looked directly at Bondi, then read the first quote that made everyone's breath catch. "No one will trace us back if we run it through the pack." That quote had never been confirmed publicly until that moment. But Crockett wasn't done. She laid out wire transfers, shell corporations, inconsistencies in expense reports, all documented, all real. When Bondi tried to dismiss it as conspiracy theories, Crockett didn't even blink. "I'm not here with theories. Everything I'm presenting is pulled directly from financial disclosures, publicly filed court documents, and archived government records. If you want to call that conspiracy, that's on you." Her tone wasn't angry. It was the calm of someone calling a bluff in a poker game where she held all the cards. Bondi strikes back. Pam Bondi had enough. She leaned forward, voice rising. "This is outrageous. You're turning this hearing into a court of public opinion, smearing names on live TV with zero accountability." But Crockett was ready. "I'm reading government records, Pam. These are my words. They're theirs." Then came the line that stopped the room cold. "If we're afraid of the public hearing the truth because it might make someone uncomfortable, then maybe we're not the ones who should be holding these seats." Within minutes, that clip was trending on every platform. The real fight begins. Bondi wasn't backing down. She slammed her binder shut with a loud snap. "You're riding the circus right into the next primary. You don't care about justice. You care about attention." Crockett's response was quiet but devastating. "I care that this country's been lied to so many times. People don't know what truth sounds like anymore. You're smearing names and calling it justice." Bondi shot back. "Some things don't need to be invented to be dangerous," Crockett replied calmly. "They just need to be ignored long enough." The nuclear option. But Crockett had saved her biggest weapon for last. She pulled out another document, an internal Treasury email about suspicious wire transfers involving Trump's immediate family. A staffer had tried to flag it. No one followed up. The staffer resigned 2 weeks later. "If I hadn't requested this under FOIA, it wouldn't even be here," she said. Then she turned to the camera, speaking directly to America. "This isn't about party. This is about truth. And if we don't speak it here, when will we?" The silence that followed wasn't just respect. It was recognition. Something real had just broken through the political theater. The moment that changed everything. As the hearing continued, Crockett revealed more: alternate elector plans, backdated payments, shadow operations to probe federal agencies without authorization. Each revelation was documented, verified, undeniable. When Bondi accused her of being reckless, Crockett fired back with a line that would define her: "I'm not reckless. I'm tired. Tired of watching people dodge accountability, while the rest of us are told to be patient." But it was her final statement that truly resonated. "We've watched billion-dollar figures walk free while whistleblowers lose their homes. That's the imbalance we're sitting in right here, right now." The aftermath. By the next morning, Crockett was everywhere. Her clips hit 4 million views overnight. Major networks ran her quotes on loop. Even conservative radio callers were asking why Bondi couldn't respond to the actual evidence. Bondi, meanwhile, vanished, canceled interviews, slipped out hotel back exits, went completely silent. The shift was undeniable. Crockett had won by yelling or grandstanding. She'd won by staying calm, presenting facts, and never folding under pressure. The real story behind the strength. But here's what made Crockett unshakable in that moment: her past as a public defender in Louisiana. Years spent in cold courtrooms, fighting for clients who couldn't afford anyone else. A teenager named Nolan Ray, arrested for stealing medicine for his asthmatic sister. Endless nights combing through evidence, begging judges to see context, not just codes. Those years carved her voice. They taught her how to build cases piece by piece, not with rage, but with rhythm. Facts, timelines, paper trails, they weren't new weapons. They were the only defense she'd ever had. The legacy. 3 days later, at a town hall in Dayton, Crockett delivered the message that would define her legacy. "I don't care if anyone remembers my name. I care if you remember the question. When you know something's wrong, do you speak up or do you wait for someone else to?" She looked out at teachers, nurses, veterans, teenagers, regular people who've been waiting for someone to tell the truth without permission. "If you wait until you're comfortable to tell the truth, you'll never open your mouth," she said. Real leadership doesn't tiptoe around discomfort. It walks straight through it. The lesson. Jasmine Crockett didn't ask for permission that day. She didn't soften her words to avoid confrontation. She told the truth like it was a debt coming due. And in that moment, she reminded America of something we forget too often. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about speaking up even when your voice shakes. It's about asking questions that make the right people uncomfortable and the right truth undeniable. Because here's what power counts on: your silence, your willingness to wait for someone else to speak up, your fear of making waves. But sometimes one person with receipts and the courage to read them out loud can change everything. The truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be consistent. And if someone tells you it's not your place to speak up, make it your place.